Language learning is not just about memorizing vocabulary and grammar rules. It's about how learners apply language to comprehend different ideas, concepts, and emotions. This is a marker of success in language acquisition and an increase in language proficiency in a learner. That is why it is important we work on enhancing learners' comprehension of language while we introduce them to rules and syntaxes in the language. One of the many ways we can aid comprehension in language learning is through arts integration. What do I mean when I say this? The word arts in arts integration is an activity that involves the use of imaginations, skill, and creativity to produce work that stimulates the senses and brings out emotions. This can be visual arts like drawing and painting, performing arts like drama and music, or literary arts like storytelling, creative writing, and poetry. Even digital art like photography and video production are part of arts integration activities. Now, let's look at an activity that uses craft to help learners learn the sequence of important events by creating a story sequencing bracelet.
Let's take the example of Children of Courage Bravery Awards from grade 5. Let's take the first story to create a story bracelet. What you need to do is pick out the main events of this story. Here we have 4 main events of Harish Chandra's story. Number 1. Jawaharlal Nehru was watching a performance at Delhi's Ramleela grounds in the Red Fort. Second, a fire broke out in a shamiana through a short circuit. Third, Harish Chandra, a 14-year-old scout, quickly took out his knife and cut the burning shamiana. And fourth, this act saved the lives of hundreds of trapped people. Once you pick out the main events of the story and you've sequenced it in order, decide the images that you want to use to represent each segment or each event. Here are some examples of images that we could use to represent these sequence of events: a fire, tent, a knife, an award, Nehruji, and so on.
Let's make a story bracelet. First, let's take all the materials required. 1 sheet of newspaper, a pencil, a pair of scissors, glue, thread about 10 inches, and strips of colored paper. First, let's draw the images. Before you draw the images, use a bottle cap to give you a circular outline. Now, give it a small head, like this. Now, let's draw the images we have used to represent segments of our text within this particular circle, like this. Once you have done this, cut around the circle and the head. Do this for every image. You should get a couple of images like this, with cutouts like so. Now, let's begin making the beads with the newspaper. To do this, cut the newspaper into triangular strips. They should look something like this. Now, take a pencil and begin rolling the strips of paper into beads like this. Once you come to the end of the strip, apply some glue to the last piece of the strip and fold the strip in. Now slowly try to remove the pencil from inside the bead. And now you have a bead. Like this, make many beads, about 7 to 8. Now, let's start creating the bracelet. Take the images that we have cut out and poke a hole at the head. Once you have poked holes large enough for threads to go in, arrange the images in order, that is, in the order of the sequence of the story. And now start assembling the bracelet. Take one end of the thread and insert a bead. Next, insert the first image. Use a pencil to help you get the thread through the hole. Excellent. Continue assembling the bracelet with another bead. And then the next image. Now place the length of the bracelet around your student's hands, and once it's done, cut off the ends of the thread.
When you do this activity in the classroom, you can ask the learners to come up with their own images for each of the important events in the story. Now, learners can use the different images or beads on the bracelet to recall different parts of the story. For example, Jawaharlal Nehru was watching a performance at Delhi's Ram Leela grounds in the Red Fort. A fire broke out in the Shamiana through a short circuit, and so on. You can also help learners summarize a text using the story bracelet by prompting them to write down what they recall as they move through the different images and beads.